Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Tuesday the 19th of May 2026. The year of green wicks and BSV Terranodi in the mix. Branch of threads, expand your mind with TreeChat.ai. All your posts put on chain. Here we go. So just going to carry on with the does digital cash have a place in the economy? We've got some 365 days of Bitcoin history. We'll have a quick look at the figures and then that'll be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Craig says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. He's acclaiming his legacy, you'll surely see.
Right then, let's see how this reads then. So we just finished on World War II and how the Bretton Woods Agreement was signed in 1944, which would have been the 200th birth year of Mayer Amschel Rothschild, that was born in 1744. Coincidence, maybe? Who knows? But the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944 took place while the Second World War was still raging. It seems convenient that World War II ended shortly after this agreement was signed, in the same way that World War I ended shortly after the Balfour Declaration was signed on the 2nd of November 1917. The Bretton Woods Agreement made the US dollar the world reserve currency, since the United States had the majority of the world's gold reserves after World War II. The proposal was that all the world's currencies would be backed by the US dollar, and it was the US dollar that would be backed by gold. This meant that the USD was no longer economically competitive to other currencies, meaning the United States could be as economically reckless and irresponsible as it liked via inflation without suffering the consequences of any international economic penalties, i.e. the devaluation of its currency. The Nixon shock, 15th of August 1971. In the same year that the Club of Rome rebranded to the World Economic Forum on the 24th of January 1971 and Memorandum 30/1048 was published, 1st of July 1971, the Nixon shock was also orchestrated on the 15th of August 1971. The World Economic Forum is unofficially recognised as the deep state propaganda arm. Memorandum 30/1048 outlined how high treason would be committed, the monarch deposed and sovereignty surrendered when Britain joined the European Economic Community on the 1st of January 1973, which corrupted both the UK political and judicial systems. Memorandum 30/1048 was hidden from the British public for 30 years. This high treason was committed by Queen Elizabeth II when she signed Memorandum 30/1048 into force via the Treaty of Accession in 1972 on the 22nd of January. Queen Elizabeth also failed to sign her coronation oath correctly on the 4th of November 1952. She signed the oath at the top, indicating that she had not read or applied her mind, and was therefore not taking responsibility or accountability for the terms and conditions within the oath. Since she had not signed her oath and also committed high treason on the people, there was no crown to pass on to her son Charles, which is why the Privy Council defined him as Liege Lord Charles III at his charade of a coronation, because he could not be king. The Nixon shock removed the US dollar from the gold standard. This immediately corrupted the world's financial system, since all USD and all currency backed by it from the 1944 Bretton Woods Agreement instantly became classified as securities fraud, as defined in law by SEC versus W.J. Howico 1946, because it no longer secured entitlement to anything. The Nixon shock, 15th of August 1971, was coincidentally orchestrated on the 100th year anniversary of Albert Pike's letter to Giuseppe Mazzini that had previously been on display in the British Museum in London. The letter, dated 15th of August 1871, outlined how it would require 3 world wars to bring about a totalitarian one world government and new world order. If a group of people controlled the world's financial system and the flow of its medium of exchange, it would only be a matter of time before they could fulfill any plan they desire. This might be a clue as to why the Nixon shock was orchestrated on the 15th of August 1971. What can be done about all this corruption? Since all legal and political influence stem from economic power, the only way to defeat this level of corruption would be for the world to start operating on a true money. The bigger the problem, the less options become available to those looking for solutions. How big is the problem and where does it stem from? The corruption in modern society can be traced back to the Flexner Report of 1910, when herbal medicines started to be substituted for petroleum-based pharmaceutical products. Doctors and university lecturers were arrested and thrown in jail for practicing and teaching homeopathic treatments and cures. As we follow the timeline back, it leads us to biblical texts, particularly the book of Samuel, written 1028 BC. In 1 Samuel 15:3, God gave an instruction, now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them, put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. Absolutely satanic. The Amalekite people can be traced back to the book of Genesis, where they are first referred to as Rephaim. In Hebrew, the word Rephaim translates to terrible ones. The Rephaim believe they are the same bloodline and descendants of the biblical Nephilim, and the Nephilim believe that they are in a war with God after he tried to eradicate them from earth in the Great Flood, reference the story of Noah's Ark. In the book of Daniel 2:43, written 604 BC, Daniel describes a kingdom and a people that shall not cleave. That was in the King James Bible. It is believed by those who want to go against the word of God that this kingdom represents the countries of Europe. So, to go against the word of God, they wish to bring the countries of Europe together through the creation of the European Union, destroy their cultures and languages, and create a monoculture amongst them. The Rephaim are called so because they are the followers of Remphan. They also worship Baal, Moloch and Baphomet. They worship Baal for the economic power, Moloch for political power, and Baphomet for the inspiration to invert, subvert and pervert God's law and creations. These people were later defined in the book of Revelation 3:9, written 95 AD. Today, Rephaim would be called Rephaimians. Drop the RE to create a word close enough that doesn't give too much away and get Fabians. The instruction to kill men, women, children, infants, cattle, sheep, camels and donkeys has developed into an idea to first of all create a totalitarian one world government and take control of all the world's resources. Once that has been achieved, the extermination of the majority of the world's population in order to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, reference the Georgia Guidestones, should be made easier. How big is the problem? In 2020, the M1 money stock that tracks the expansion of the world reserve currency expanded by 300% in just 3 months from March 2020 to May 2020. It continued further until March 2022. This level of expansion is unprecedented. There is no justification for this level of M1 expansion ever, and it can only end in complete and utter economic annihilation. Prices will continue to rise until there is a complete worldwide currency collapse, causing mass famines and the disintegration of economic infrastructure and supply chains. Got a link to the M1 money stock there. The size of the problem is as big as it gets. There is only one way to fix this problem. There is no way to fix this problem by either lawful or political means. The only way to solve this is by encouraging the use of a new economically positive medium of exchange, a new form of money that can absorb the negative effects of inflation caused by the mass expansion of the M1 money stock. What we need is the commodity described in the book of Daniel as the stone cut with our hands that becomes a great mountain and fills the whole earth. The solution, here we go, check this out, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The only way to create a peer-to-peer electronic cash system is to first of all create a commoditized digital network that a digital asset could then be extracted from. There is only one way to do this, meaning there will only ever be one digital commodity. Keeping in synchronicity with the book of Daniel, on the 17th of June 2010, Satoshi Nakamoto famously wrote, "The nature of Bitcoin is such that once version 0.1 was released, the core design was set in stone for the rest of its lifetime. The only way to create a commoditized digital network is to combine the following 5 elements. 1. The foundation of the network must be distributed and each component must be economically competitive to one another. It's competition that divides things. Without competition, there is only collusion and centralization." Satoshi didn't spell this out directly, but in the abstract section of the Bitcoin white paper, Satoshi wrote, "Nodes can leave and rejoin the network at will." So in other words, that means competitively. Number 2, responsibility and accountability must be moved away from the economically competitive distributed foundation and onto the users of the network. This is done by attaching a digital signature to each and every transaction, holding each individual user responsible for their own actions / network use. Accountability must then be created amongst the users by creating a chain of these digital signatures extending from the Genesis block. In the Bitcoin white paper, 2 transactions, Satoshi wrote, "We define an electronic coin as a chain of digital signatures." Number 3, the network must have unbounded scale so that limitations and restrictions cannot be manufactured and the network not be manipulated in any way via artificial limits. In the Bitcoin white paper, 6 incentives, Satoshi wrote, the incentive can transition entirely to transaction fees and be completely inflation free. For the network to be inflation free, it must be free from any scaling capacity / volume limitations. Yes, so an uncapped block size. 4, there must be a fixed asset supply baked into the protocol so that its economic fundamental value cannot be manipulated via its inflation or deflation. In the Bitcoin white paper, 6 incentives, Satoshi wrote, once a predetermined number of coins have entered circulation, the incentive can transition entirely to transaction fees and be completely inflation free. Predetermined means a fixed set amount. And 5, these 4 elements must be locked into the protocol before its inception and never changed. In the Bitcoin white paper, section 6 incentives, Satoshi wrote, he ought to find it more profitable to play by the rules, such rules that favour him with more new coins than everyone else combined, than to undermine the system and the validity of his own wealth. There is no such thing as perfect security, only economic incentive. Therefore, it must be more profitable to play by the rules in comparison to the cost of breaking them. As well as these above 5 elements, the network itself must undergo a period of commoditization, which is neutral organic growth, in order to dilute its central starting point. The starting point of the network must also be classified as being common, so a common, equal and reasonable opportunity must have been provided for anyone and everyone to start the network themselves. And obviously this creates a paradox, the paradox of the centralized starting point. The reason most eminent economists don't trust or understand Bitcoin is due to the paradox of the centralized starting point. The paradox is that if someone can start something, then the same thing can be started by someone else anywhere at any time, meaning an infinite supply and therefore an economic fundamental value of 0. However, what they've missed is the neutral organic growth of the network that cannot be replicated. This is why the author of the Bitcoin white paper wrote the white paper in English but gave himself a Japanese pseudonym. There we go, that's 10 minutes gone, 12 minutes gone actually. There we go, so why Japanese pseudonym? We'll crack on with that next, loving that. Just quickly, some 365 days of Bitcoin history. On this day, the 19th of May 1649, Oliver Cromwell establishes the Commonwealth of England. Forces led by Oliver Cromwell won the Second English Civil War. King Charles I is executed, and now Cromwell and the Rump Parliament do away with royal rule in favour of a Commonwealth. England will be a republic for only 11 years before the Restoration revives monarchical rule or monarchical power. 19th of May 2010, there was more discussions of the offer to buy pizza with Bitcoin. There we go. Any know of any pizza eating hairdressers? There we go. Loving that. Little bit of Bitcoin history there. And look at this. We're now on 3.8 million transactions, representing 53% of the network. More than Craig Coin, Ethereum and XRP and Litecoin combined. So that's literally more than like a $2 trillion combined total market cap with only a $300 million coin. Not even 300 billion. Literally 300 million compared to like a $2 trillion market cap. Whipping them all. That's what we like to see. Just confirming, so we've got 3.7 million transactions here. Let's see where these transactions are coming from. The op return. So I wonder if that's anything to do with the Korean won. I wonder, the stable coin being in use. I wonder if that's listed anywhere. Might have to see how well that's doing. Mining stats, as a quick look, 24 hours. Tal 25%, Coup 15, QD Link 13.9, Gorilla Pool 12.5, SA100 11.7, Cryptex 10.2, Gorilla Node 6.6, Mining Dutch 2.2, and Molepool 1.4. All right, very good. There we go. Right, we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it as ever. Be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
I understand.
Do you?
Do you? This is it. I'm telling you, this is it.
The king still has one more move.